अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, कैसे हैं आप सब। उम्मीद करती हैं आप सब ठीक होंगे। आज मैं आपको अपनी वीडियो में एक हदीका मरीफात के अंदर एक नई एग्जीबिशन ओपन हुई है, उसकी विज़िट करवाऊंगी। इस एग्जीबिशन का मकसद ये है कि ये एक्सप्लेन करना कि अरब में इस्लाम कैसे आया था या उसकी हिस्ट्री क्या है। तो इस वीडियो में आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की आमद से पहले, इस्लाम की आमद से पहले लेकर किंग अब्दुल अजीज़ के ज़माने तक की जो अहम बातें हुई थी और जिससे कैमल्स की इम्पोर्टेंस ज़ाहिर होती है, तो इस वीडियो में हम ये बात करेंगे। तो मेरे साथ रहिए मेरी वीडियो में और साथ साथ जो है वो एंजॉय करें।
Start your journey from the past to the present to know the relationship between the camels and Arabs from the ancient era. You can start from here, take a brief about the exhibition from this wall, and you will see two stars in each wall, like Queen Shamsi. You can start from here. Queen Shamsi. Know the details from the wall.
इस वॉल पे जो स्टोरी लिखी हुई है वो क्वीन शम्सी की स्टोरी लिखी हुई है और ये इंग्लिश में भी लिखी हुई है, साथ में अरबिक में भी लिखी हुई है। काफ़ी ज़्यादा लंबी थी और इसकी थोड़ी एनिमेटेड वीडियो में थोड़ा डिस्क्रिप्शन भी बताया हुआ था। बेसिकली उन्होंने 4 ज़मानों के अंदर डिवाइड किया हुआ था, जिसमें सबसे पहले या स्टार्टिंग जो एरा था वो ये वाला ज़माना था क्वीन शम्सी का, और आगे जाके फिर मुझे सेकेंड एरा में फिर एक और डिस्क्रिप्शन के लिए वहाँ पे एक और खड़े थे जिन्होंने बड़े ही अच्छे तरीके से एक्सप्लेन किया।
First section is inside here.
Okay. Okay, you can start.
This is the second section of the exhibition. It's called the pre-Islamic era. And in the pre-Islamic era, there is a famous story at the famous war called Al-Basus War. And this war was between two tribes, Bakr and Taghrib. And this war lasted for 40 years. And the reason of this war is a camel named Sarah. And the owner of the camel, her name was Basus. So that's why the war called Basus after the owner name. And the killing of the camel it's just the spark of the war that lasted for 40 years. The war was about revenge, taking revenge about the killing of their camels. So the war lasted for 40 years. It had been many communication between the two tribes to end the war, but it didn't go well. So after 40 years, the two tribes decided to end the war, not in peace, but in a way that the two tribes exhausted all their resources, so there is no one left to fight. It's have been 2 generations that have been fighting, and they lost the cause for the fight. A lot of generations have passed away, and they are still fighting. So the tribe realized that they lost the reason of the fight, the war. They don't remember even what's the reason for the war. So they decided to end the war.
After 40 years, they ended.
After 40 years. And in this section, we have the iPad that have the full story. It's in Arabic. We have the beginning of the war, the continuance of the war, the attempts of ending the war, and the end of the war. You will hear the voice from up there. You can watch even the video. You can read it if you want. And here we have...
It is not in English?
No. We have an English version here in the wall. So you can read it. But here we have the ancient Arabian map of the pre-Islamic era. And in this section we have the two tribes' location, and in this circle the spark of the war that started here in this place called Al-Dinahvlog.
Okay.
So this is the ancient Arabian map. We have here, if we continue, we can see here where is the war have been going for the past 40 years. It was in Aliyat Najd. And the meaning of Aliyat Najd is the high ends of Najd. It's a high place. So this is the place of the war.
ترسخت صورة سراب في ذاكرة القبائل وأصبحت رمزا للصراع المتهور الذي دار طرحا وحصدت فيه كثير من الأرواح البشرية، وقد تكرر ضبط مقتل سراب مرارا وتكرارا.
After the two tribes decided to end the war, the two tribes separated from each other. They are cousins. They used to be cousins. after the war, the two tribes decided to separate away and they will never meet again. So one of the
لم
tribes
تنتهي حرب
moved
بسبوس
to Iraq.
بانتصار حازم.
Move to
نتيجة
Iraq.
للإرهاب
Okay.
والاعتراف
And one
المتبادل بعدم جدوى استمرار النزاع، فانتهت
in Makkah, near
الحرب
Makkah.
بتوصل القبائل إلى اتفاق لوقف الأعمال العدائية.
Still here in the pre-Islamic era. In this section we are talking about how closely tied the camel was with the Arabian person and with the Arabian literature, and there's no other animal have been closely tied as the camel. Have been with the Arabian person and the poetry and the Arabian literature. So they always talked about it. They always flirting about their camels. They always admiring their camels. If they have an advice, they will put the camel in the advice. They always talking about it. And in the pre-Islamic era, ancient Arabian was a desert. So most of the tribes are traveling a lot, looking for green lands. So they used camels for that, and that's why they are so closely to the Arabian person. And also they are using it for the meat and for the milk and for the leather and also for the wool of the camel. They used they are making clothes, they are making tent, they are making ropes out of the leathers of the camels. And also in the ancient Arabian, it was the camel was used to be a currency.
Like a currency.
Like a currency. So if they wanted to buy
To sell
anything,
and
they
buy.
will buy it with the camel. And even in the Islam, it's mahar. When you are marrying a woman, you pay their family with the camel.
Oh, okay.
Even
Like a dowry.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. So the camel used to be like gold in our era today.
Okay.
It's have a very big value until this day. The Arabian person have been so closely tied to a camel. So here we have one of the poetry. It's a famous one in the pre-Islamic era by Tarafa. He's a famous poetess. And in this section he's talking about the beauty of his camel and how strong it was and how beautiful she was. And this particular poetry used to be hanged in the wall of the Kaaba.
Can you explain in English?
Of course.
Yeah.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Al-Qaswa exhibition.
Okay.
Al-Qaswa is the name of the camel of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She's the camel that he used to travel from Mecca to Medina. After he arrived in Medina, the people of Medina called Al-Ansar. They tried to receive him, to have him as a guest. But he told them, meaning I would like to accept your invitation, but she's ordered to go somewhere. Where she went and she sat down, that's where he built his house in Hujarat, Buyut, Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, and Al-Masjid al-Nabawi al-Sharif, the Prophet's mosque we know today, Al-Haram. We know that one prayer in this place is equal to minimum 1,000 prayers. This is honoring for this creature, also wisdom from Allah Azza wa Jal, that no human being chose this place. In the 6th year of Hijrah, the Muslims went out to Mecca to perform Umrah, but Quraysh, they obstructed their way in a place called Hudaybiyah. There, this camel called Al-Qaswa, she sat down, and the companions, they tried to move her, but the Prophet ﷺ, he was defending her. He told them that this is not her behavior, but it is inspiration from Allah Azza wa Jal that she is stopping here. This act led to negotiations between them, and they signed the very famous treaty called Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, Treaty of Hudaybiyah. This treaty allowed the Muslims to go into Mecca the following year, and then we know the opening of Mecca happened. Now we are in the 10th year of Hijrah. We know in this year the Prophet ﷺ, he performed Hajj. It was called Hajjatul Wada', the farewell Hajj, because it was the first and last Hajj of him ﷺ. He said the very famous Khutbatul Wada', the sermon on Arafah, Yom Arafah, which is the best day of the year, in front of around 120,000 Muslims, on top of this camel Al-Qaswa. She's the only camel that can handle the revelation, subhanallah. Also, he died in a very short while from sadness and grief. She did not eat, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Welcome.
Thank you. थर्ड एरा की एक्सप्लेनेशन के बाद जब हम आ गए तो हमें यहाँ पे फोर्थ एरा की एक्सप्लेनेशन के लिए एक और यहाँ पे मेल मिले, जो कि अरबिक में उन्होंने एक्सप्लेन की, लेकिन ट्रांसलेटर के तौर पर उन्होंने दोबारा से जो है वहाँ पे बुलाया। इस एरा का नाम था एक्सपेंशन एरा। एक्सपेंशन मीन लाइक इस्लाम कैसे फैला था और कैसे उससे रिलेटेड कुछ अहम जो वाक़या था वो यहाँ पे वो एक्सप्लेन किया।
There was a very famous poet called Ka'b ibn Zuhair. He used to hurt the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his poetry. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he allowed for anyone to see him to kill him.
وكان أخوه أسلم قبله وقال له أنه لو جاء إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيسامحه.
He gave this permission to kill him because he hurt the Prophet and the Muslims with his poetry. So his brother, he was Muslim before him. So he told him that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a forgiving person. So if you ask him for forgiveness, he will forgive.
فجاء للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال أمامه قصيدة بدأها بالغزل في حبيبته.
He came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this poet, and he started the poetry with flirting to his beloved.
وبعدين طلب السماح من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حينما قال أنا أقول البيت بس تسمعوا. أنبئت أن رسول الله أوعدني والعفو عند رسول الله مأمول. يبقى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يسامح.
So he said these poetry lines to ask for forgiveness from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
ومدح فيها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حينما قال إن الرسول لسيف يستضاء به مهند من سيوف الله مسلول.
He also complimented the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by saying a couple of complimentary poetry lines.
عفى عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعطاه بردته حماية له لكي حينما يراه شخص ما يقتله.
So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forgave him and he gave him his sweater or scarf so that when anyone sees him with the scarf, he knows that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forgave him. That's why this poem is called Al-Burda, because he received the burda of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes, sister Beth. هي إنجليزي.
The Muslim Arab lived when they were in Medina and they went to Iraq to spread the message of Islam. They stayed in one of Iraq's city and the place was great. Everything they need, they had. They only faced one problem. There was insect attacking the camel. It wouldn't kill the camel, but it was bothering the camel. So the leader Umar bin Khattab said, Arab are like camels. If the place wasn't good for the camel, it's not good for the Arabs. So they took a very difficult decision at the time to move from a city to the other for the comfort of the camel. The way they picked which city to go to was very clever from them. They brought a piece of meat and they spread it in different areas and they monitor the meat. The meat that would go bad the fastest would come out of the nest. They wouldn't go there. Because if the weather was hot, humid, or had insects, the meat would get ruined faster. So in this way, they picked a city called Al-Kufa because it had the best weather. This part of the story shows you how they wanted to make difficult and uncomfortable decisions just for the comfort of the camel. The second part says that when they went to Al-Kufa and they lived in it, they started to build the city. And they had a rule. The smallest street couldn't be less than 7 cubits. Why 7? Because even in the smallest roads in Al-Kufa can fit 2 camels with all of the stuff they're carrying. In the smallest road, it means in between houses. So we can see how the camel have influenced all of their life decisions and even changed the way that they do architecture. This story summarizes the importance of the camel in the era of faith and expansion. Any questions?
No, thank you so much.
Important products that they were using for trading. They would get those things to Medina.
Okay, like saffron? This is
Saffron is the most expensive spice because 1 kilogram requires more than 200 flowers.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Then you have dates. They were previously they were getting the date from a city called Al-Basra in Iraq. In Iraq.
Okay.
After that, you have silk. Silk also is a very fine product. They were getting it from China, and there is a road from China to Khalij al-Arabi.
For the transport? For what? Like for transport, like they used to order?
It's called, this street is called the Road of Silk, the Silk Road.
Okay.
Here we have an oud. Yeah, they were getting this from South Asia, like India and Indonesia as well.
Okay. So it is not Arab product?
No.
Oh.
It's called al-hawdaj. They would put this in top of the camel to carry women and kids. When it's for the women, they would cover it completely so no one can see inside. It's like a private room. Okay? Have a map of the expansion of Islam. Islam started and it spread in this area, in the yellow color, at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet. After that, in the purple color, at the time of Al-Khulafa al-Rashidin, especially in the time of Umar bin Khattab. After that, in the green color, as you can see here and there, at the time of Al-Dawla al-Umayyah. Okay? Islam got spread in two different ways. In a peaceful way, through trading. As I told you, they were going to Iraq, to China, to India. It's all from this side. So this side of the world got introduced to Islam through, in a peaceful way, through trading. But in the left side, Islam got there through war, especially in Al-Andalus, which now is Spain. Okay, and this, like here we have how things were previously. It's very dark, you can't see anything, only you can see the stars. And the wind, the sounds of the fire, the sound of the camel. Okay? And he might even start telling a story. Feel free to sit down if you want, or even to stand.
It's too dark.
إلى طائفة من المظاهر الكونية ذات البعد العاطفي العميق لدى الشعراء، والتي ما إن تمر بالعربي حتى تهيج عليه أشواقه وذكرياته، ولحنين الإبل دون سائر هذه المطر.
I hope आपको मेरी वीडियो जो है वो समझ आई होगी और पसंद आई होगी। तो सबसे पहले मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें। और आगे जाके उन्होंने अरब कल्चर और ट्रेडिशन को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए उन्होंने एनिमेटेड यहाँ पे प्रोजेक्टर के अंदर कैमल राइड जो है वो चलाई गई थी, और यहाँ पे उन्होंने आर्टिफिशियल तरीके से ये बनाया हुआ था। और आगे जाके यहाँ पे मुझे ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ लगी। यहाँ पे ये आपको ये रिप्रेजेंट करिए, ये साउंड जो है ये अगर होती तो ये किस तरह की लगती। मतलब यहाँ पे ये सॉल्ट के पार्टिकल्स हैं जो वाइब्रेट हो रहे हैं, और आपको वाइब्रेशन से प्रोड्यूस करके यहाँ पे ये बताएंगे कि ये इट लुक लाइक हाउ, मतलब ये किस तरह की लगेगी साउंड। यहाँ पे 3 कैटेगरीज हैं जो यहाँ पे आपको वो शो करवा रही हैं।
Over the camel. So there was singing this song, Hobble. They call it Hobble, yeah. And the last song, the desert one. So in this room, every songs have a different shape. Yeah. So just take the headphone.
और अभी आपको ये फर्स्ट साउंड जो कि कैमल है उसकी वाइब्रेशन पार्टिकल्स की शो करवा रहे हैं कि उसकी साउंड जो है वो कैसे लगती है, मतलब अगर होती तो कैसे होती। और ये अभी आपको हॉबल साउंड के बारे में बता रही है कि हॉबल साउंड के पार्टिकल्स कैसे होते हैं, कैसे वाइब्रेट करते हैं। अभी डेजर्ट के बारे में, डेजर्ट की साउंड के बारे में उन्होंने यहाँ पे आपको रिप्रेजेंट करवा रहे हैं, और बहुत ही बेहतरीन यहाँ पे रिप्रेजेंटेशन थी इसके लिए। Desert world. And how they are vibrating, like how they are moving, like it is what?
It is like what?
Like these are sand particles?
Yeah, this is a sun.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, this is not salt. This is a salt.
ओके ओके ओके
Yeah, this is salt.
ओके ओके। और हम जब नेक्स्ट लेवल पे गए तो यहाँ पे उन्होंने कैमल से रिलेटेड, कैमल्स की इम्पोर्टेंस से रिलेटेड उन्होंने डिफरेंट पेंटिंग्स की हुई थी। और यहाँ पे पेंटिंग्स में डिफरेंट उन्होंने आर्ट को रिप्रेजेंट किया हुआ था। यहाँ पे डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए जो खड़ी थी लेडी, उनको इंग्लिश नहीं आती थी, तो इसलिए भी मैंने इसकी हिस्ट्री नहीं पूछी। उन्होंने डिफरेंट यहाँ पे स्टैचूज़ बनाए हुए हैं कैमल्स के बारे में, पेंटिंग्स बनाई हुई हैं, अपने ट्रेडिशनल कल्चर को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं कि कैमल उनकी हिस्ट्री में कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस रखता है, इस्लाम की हिस्ट्री में कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस रखता है। तो उस लिहाज से यहाँ पे थोड़ी रिप्रेजेंटेशन थी। और लास्ट में रिव्यूज़ के लिए उन्होंने यहाँ पे जो है वो रिव्यूज़ के लिए पूछा था कि रिव्यू दें हमें, हमारी एक्सप्लेनेशन कैसी लगी है। और बस आज की वीडियो में इतना ही। अगर आपको मेरी वीडियो अच्छी लगी है तो मेरे चैनल को शेयर करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और अपडेट करें कमेंट्स के अंदर कि मैं और किस तरह की वीडियोज़ आपके साथ शेयर करूँ।